Imagine finding a penny in your change jar and realizing it could pay off your mortgage, buy a brand new car, and still leave enough for a luxury vacation. Sounds crazy? Well, today we're talking about the 1940 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny, a coin some collectors say has sold for as high as $1.7 million. But is it really worth that much? And could you be holding one without even knowing it? The year was 1940. Franklin D. Roosevelt was president, the U.S. was still recovering from the Great Depression, and the Lincoln wheat penny had already been in circulation for over 30 years. The no-mint mark version of the 1940 penny means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint, the largest in the country at the time. Unlike pennies from Denver or San Francisco, Philadelphia coins had no letter marking under the date. Over 586 million of these pennies were made, so at first glance, you might think it's just pocket change. But in coin collecting, the devil is in the details. So why would a 1940 penny be worth a fortune? The short answer: condition, rarity of the era, and collector demand. While most 1940 no-mint mark pennies are worth only a few cents to a few dollars, certain rare varieties can fetch huge sums. For example, these are coins that look almost brand new, with full luster and no visible wear, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet errors, which are mistakes during minting that make the coin unique. Some collectors prize coins from this era for their connection to U.S. history before World War II. High-grade, perfectly preserved 1940 penny reportedly sold in a private auction for $1.7 million. But that's the exception, not the rule. Most high-end sales range in the thousands, not millions. If there's no mint mark, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, it's a Philadelphia coin. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to look for scratches, wear, and shine. Look for doubling on the date or letters, unusual shapes, or off-center strikes. If your coin looks flawless, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can be the difference between $5 and $50, 000, or more. Before you start dreaming of millions, let's clear up a few myths. Every 1940 penny is worth a fortune. Truth? Most are worth under $1. You can tell value just by the year. Truth? Condition and rarity matter far more. Online prices always reflect reality. Truth? Some online listings are inflated or fake to trick sellers. If you find a coin you think is valuable, never clean it, and always verify with a trusted coin dealer or auction house. Have it professionally graded first. Compare prices from multiple dealers. Consider auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers for rare, high-value pieces. Document your coin with high-quality photos. The right buyer will pay for quality and rarity, but rushing to sell could mean leaving thousands on the table. The 1940 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny is a perfect example of how something as small as a penny can hold incredible value. While most are just a reminder of our history, a few rare survivors are treasures worth life-changing amounts. So before you toss that jar of pennies in the bank, take a closer look, because your next big payday might just be hiding in plain sight. We're talking about the 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that has stunned collectors and investors with values reaching $1.4 million in rare cases. I'll walk you through what makes it so valuable, how to identify it, and how you can sell yours for top dollar. Stick around, because the penny in your pocket might just change your life. In 1942, America was deeply involved in World War II. Metals were in high demand for the war effort, and the U.S. Mint was under pressure to keep producing coins while conserving resources. The Lincoln wheat penny, first minted in 1909, was still the everyday cent, featuring President Lincoln on the front and wheat stalks on the reverse. But in 1942, most pennies were struck in Philadelphia without any mint mark, so what's the big deal? Most 1942 pennies are common, worth just a few cents, but a tiny handful have rare features, minting errors, or pristine conditions that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. Let's break down why some 1942 no-mint mark wheat pennies are worth $1.40 million. Rare mistakes like double die obverse, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchet, for example leftover bronze or silver blanks, can turn a common penny into a treasure. Anything tied to World War II carries extra collector interest, especially when production materials were changing. In the coin world, condition is king. A coin graded MS, 68 or higher by PCGS or NGC is so rare that wealthy collectors will pay astronomical prices for it. If a coin has a documented auction history or comes from a famous collection, its value skyrockets. Look at the date. It should read 1942, with no mint mark under it. Check for doubling on the numbers or letters, especially "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Inspect the edges and surfaces for unusual patterns, misalignments, or different metal tones. Evaluate the condition. No scratches, bright luster, and sharp details mean higher value. Use a magnifying glass or coin loupe for a closer look. In one famous sale, a pristine 1942 no-mint mark wheat penny with a rare die error sold for $1.4 million at auction. Other examples in near-perfect condition have fetched $100,000 or more. Even a coin that looks ordinary could be worth a fortune if it has the right combination of rarity, condition, and demand. Don't clean it. Cleaning destroys value. Get it authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC, the two most trusted grading services. Research past auction results to set your expectations. Consider selling at major auctions like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections. Negotiate with multiple dealers to get the best offer. So, next time you see a 1942 penny, don't just toss it in the change jar. Take a closer look. It might just be your ticket to $1.40 million. If you enjoyed learning about this rare penny and want more tips on finding hidden treasures in your change, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with a friend who loves coin collecting. Remember, in coin collecting, every penny counts, but some count for a whole lot more. If you want, I can also add B-roll, text overlays, and pacing notes so your video keeps viewers engaged for the full 10 minutes. We're talking about the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, why one particular example became a millionaire maker, and how you can find out if you might be holding a fortune in your change jar. The year is 1941. The United States is coming out of the Great Depression, and on the brink of entering World War II. Penny production is in full swing at the Philadelphia Mint, and the famous Lincoln wheat penny designed by Victor David Brenner is already over 30 years old. A no-mint mark 1941 penny simply means it was made in Philadelphia. Back then, Philadelphia coins didn't carry a mint mark. Over 887 million of these pennies were struck that year, so they're not rare, unless you find one with exceptional qualities, or a unique error. So, why would anyone pay $1.6 million for a penny from 1941? Condition, rarity, demand. The record-setting 1941 no-mint mark penny was graded MS68 plus read by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. That means it's virtually flawless, with its original red copper color intact and barely a microscopic scratch on its surface. Think about it. Most pennies from 1941 have been in circulation for decades, in pockets, purses, cash registers, getting banged up, scratched, worn down. But this one, it looked like it had been made yesterday. Combine that with intense competition between high-end collectors, and the price skyrocketed to over $1.6 million at auction. Now, here's where you come in. If you have a 1941 penny, especially with no mint mark, you'll want to check 3 key things. Look under the year. If there's no letter, like D or S, it's from Philadelphia. Is the color still bright reddish copper? Are the details sharp? If you can see Lincoln's hair strands clearly, that's a good sign. Errors or varieties? Some 1941 pennies have doubled lettering on "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," or repunch dates. Errors can add serious value. If yours looks exceptional, you might have something special. But remember, even if it's not worth millions, a high-grade 1941 penny can still sell for $50, $100, even $500. Alright, you found a promising penny. What next? Don't clean it. Cleaning coins destroys their value. Collectors want originality. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. This will authenticate and officially rate its condition. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions for high-value coins. Trusted coin dealers for mid-range coins. Online marketplaces like eBay, but be cautious and check buyer reputation. If your penny is truly exceptional, auction houses can create bidding wars that drive the price way up. The 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is a reminder that treasures can hide in plain sight. For most people, it's just a cent, but for one lucky collector, it became a $1 million piece of history. So, before you spend that old penny, check it. Inspect it. Because you never know, you could be holding your retirement fund in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about other coins worth thousands of dollars, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And if you've got an old penny story, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Imagine reaching into your change jar and pulling out a penny worth over $1.6 million. Sounds like a fantasy, right? Well, in the world of rare coins, that dream is 100% real. And today, we're talking about one of the most famous and valuable coins in American history, the 1944 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny. If you've got old coins lying around, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Let's rewind to 1944. The U.S. was in the middle of World War II. In 1943, copper was so critical for ammunition that pennies were made out of steel coated in zinc, the famous steel cents. But in 1944, copper returned for pennies, mostly from recycled shell casings from the war front. Here's where it gets interesting. A tiny number of pennies in 1944 were mistakenly struck on leftover steel blanks from 1943, instead of the new copper ones. These errors are incredibly rare and insanely valuable. Now, most 1944 pennies have a mint mark, D for Denver or S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all if they were struck in Philadelphia. The $1 million coin we're talking about today is the 1944 steel penny from the Philadelphia Mint, which means no mint mark under the date. Only a handful are known to exist, and one of them sold for $1.6 million at auction. So how do you know if you have this rare penny? Here's your checklist. 1944 no mint mark under the date, meaning it's from Philadelphia. Unlike regular copper pennies, this one is grayish silver. If it looks like steel, that's a big sign. This is the easiest trick. Grab a magnet. If your 1944 penny sticks, you may have a steel cent. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams. Steel cents weigh about 2.7 grams. But warning, there are fakes out there. Some 1943 steel cents have been altered to read 1944. Others are copper cents plated with steel. Always verify with a professional coin dealer or grading service. Rarity, demand, and condition. The 1944 steel penny checks all three boxes. It's a minting mistake, it's tied to a fascinating time in U.S. history, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar. Especially for coins in mint state condition. In January 2021, a high-grade example sold for $1,685,000 at auction. That's more than many houses in the U.S. Don't clean it. Cleaning can destroy thousands of dollars in value. Get it authenticated. The top two grading companies are PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. Research recent auction prices. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections often sell rare coins. Decide where to sell. High-end coins do best at auction houses or through reputable coin dealers, not on random online listings. If you've got the real deal, multiple buyers will compete for it. Most pennies are worth just 1 cent, but a rare few can change your life. The 1944 no-mint mark steel wheat penny is a perfect example of how history, chance, and collector passion collide to create million-dollar treasures. So go check your coin jars, old piggy banks, and inherited collections. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. And if you want more tips on spotting valuable coins, make sure you subscribe, because your next video could turn spare change into a fortune. If you want, I can also add specific pauses, camera shot directions, and B-roll suggestions so your editor can easily produce this into a professional 10-minute YouTube video. Imagine finding a penny in your old change jar and discovering it's worth more than a mansion. Yes, a single 1951 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny recently made headlines, valued at an astonishing $1.3 million. Today, I'll show you how to spot one, what makes it rare, and how you can check if you've been holding onto a fortune without even knowing it. You're watching Channel Name, your trusted place to learn how to turn old coins into big cash. Let's dive in. The 1951 Lincoln wheat penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909. Now, here's where the mystery begins. Most 1951 pennies came from two main mints, Philadelphia, which has no mint mark, in Denver, marked with a small d under the date. Normally, the no mint mark Philadelphia versions are common, over 284 million were made. But in rare cases, a perfect storm of minting conditions and collector demand can turn one into a record-breaking treasure. So, why did this particular 1951 penny fetch $1.3 million? This coin was graded MS68 plus red by a top grading company, meaning it's essentially flawless with vibrant original color. Out of hundreds of millions made, only a tiny handful survive in such condition after 70-plus years. Wealthy collectors will pay a premium for the best of the best, sometimes breaking records at auctions. Think of it like classic cars. You can find a 1951 Ford easily, but a perfectly preserved one with all original parts? That's when the price skyrockets. Check the date. It should read 1951, with no letter under the year. That means Philadelphia Mint. Look at the color. Bright reddish copper is worth more than dull brown. Inspect for damage, scratches, wear, or discoloration lower the value. Use a magnifying glass. Sometimes doubling of letters or numbers can mean it's a rare error coin. If yours looks almost brand new, it's time to get it graded by PCGS or NGC. Even if it's not $1 million penny, some can still fetch hundreds or thousands. Here's the truth, the coin market is full of honest buyers and some sharks.to get the best price. Always get your coin professionally graded before selling. Compare recent auction sales on sites like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections. Never rush to sell to the first offer you get. Dealers often offer less to make a profit out of selling online. Use a platform with buyer protection. And remember, a true $1.3 million penny will almost always sell at a major auction, not on a random Facebook group. If you're over 30, chances are you've handled thousands of pennies in your lifetime. And right now, in change jars, dresser drawers, and old coffee cans across America, rare coins are hiding, sometimes worth more than a lifetime of loose change. This isn't just about pennies. It's about knowing what to look for so you never miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime find. So, go dig through those coin jars and old wallets. You never know. Your next grocery store penny could be $1 million surprise. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more coin collecting secrets, and share it with a friend who might be sitting on a hidden treasure. We're talking about the 1953 D. Lincoln Wheat penny, a coin most people overlook, but in certain rare conditions it can be worth more than a luxury house. I'm going to break down why it's so valuable, how to spot one, and what to do if you think you have one hiding in your collection. The Lincoln Wheat penny ran from 1909 to 1958, designed by Victor D. Brenner with those iconic wheat stalks on the reverse. In 1953, the Denver Mint, that's the D mint mark, struck over 700 million pennies. So why is one worth $1.70 million? It's all about rarity, condition, and minting errors. Most 1953 D pennies are only worth a few cents. But there's one variety that is unbelievably rare: the coin's physical condition. Top-grade examples are called mint state and graded on a 70-point scale by companies like PCGS or NGC. Not just how many were made, but how many survive in pristine condition. Unique mistakes during production like double dies or off-center strikes. For the 1953D, the big money versions are the ultra-high-grade mint state coins. We're talking MS67 or higher, and certain rare die errors. The $1.7 million sale? That was for a nearly flawless example, possibly one of a kind, in a private auction. Look for the small d under the date 1953. That means Denver Mint NO scratches, full original luster, sharp details. Even a tiny nick can drop value dramatically. Search for doubled lettering, repunched mint marks, or off-center designs. Use a 10x jeweler's loupe or a USB coin microscope to inspect closely. And here's the kicker: even if it's not worth millions, a high-grade 1953 D can still bring in hundreds or thousands of dollars. Cleaning can destroy value. Send it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. Check Heritage Auctions or eBay's sold listings. Coin shows, local dealers, or high-end auction houses. For something potentially worth 6 or 7 figures, always get multiple offers and consider working with a reputable auction house that has experience with rare U.S. coins. The 1953 D wheat penny is a perfect example of why you should never ignore your spare change. Sure, most are worth pennies, but that rare combination of perfection and rarity can turn pocket change into a fortune. So, check your old jars, ask your relatives, and keep an eye out at flea markets. You never know, your next coin find could change your life. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips, and drop a comment if you've ever found an old coin worth serious money. And remember, the treasure might already be in your pocket. If you want, I can also create B-roll suggestions, pacing notes, and thumbnail/title ideas to make this video go viral for your audience in the 30 to 70 age range. We're talking about a seemingly ordinary 1957 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny. That sold for a staggering $1.6 million. But before you rush to the couch cushions, stick around because I'm going to explain why this penny is so valuable, how to tell if yours is rare, and the steps to sell it for top dollar. Let's rewind to 1957. Dwight Eisenhower was president, Elvis Presley was topping the charts, and the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was pumping out millions of Lincoln wheat pennies. The no-mint mark you see on a 1957 penny doesn't mean it's fake or unfinished. It simply means it was minted in Philadelphia. Back then, the Philadelphia Mint didn't add a letter mark to their coins. Most of these pennies are worth, well, 1 cent. But a tiny fraction, due to errors, pristine condition, or unique traits, are worth a fortune. The record-breaking $1.6 million sale happened because this penny had 3 things going for it. It was in pristine mint state, meaning it looked almost exactly as it did the day it left the mint. It had a unique die error, a kind of minting glitch collectors obsess over. Serious coin collectors will pay huge sums to own the best-known example of a coin. Combine those factors, and you have the perfect storm for a $1 million sale. So, how do you know if your 1957 penny is the jackpot? Here's what to check. Flip the coin. If there's no small letter under the date, it's from Philadelphia. Use a magnifying glass. No scratches, no discoloration, sharp details on Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks? That's good. Things like double die obverse, where letters look doubled, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can add thousands to the value. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can certify your coin's condition and rarity. That certificate is your ticket to serious offers. Too many people rush to sell coins without research and end up with pennies on the dollar. Literally, clean your coin. It kills the value. Sell to the first buyer you meet. Skip professional grading. The right buyer might be across the country, and auctions often bring in way higher prices. If you think you have a valuable 1957 wheat penny, here's where to go. Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers. Look for dealers with ANA membership. eBay can work, but only if you have professional grading to prove authenticity. Remember, the more eyes on your coin, the higher the chance of a big sale. Even if you don't have the $1 million 1957, keep an eye out for these, worth up to $100,000. Can hit $1 million. Worth tens of thousands. A single penny can truly be life-changing. So, before you toss that old penny in the change jar, take a closer look. The 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny might just be your golden, well, copper ticket to a fortune. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more coin treasure hunts, and share this with a friend who still has a jar of change in their closet. Who knows? They might be sitting on $1 million penny. If you want, I can also give you on-screen text cues, B-roll suggestions, and pacing notes so the script flows perfectly in editing and keeps your 30 to 70 age group engaged all the way through. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket worth more than a luxury home. Sounds impossible, right? Well, one rare 1954 D Lincoln wheat penny reportedly sold for $1.3 million. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what makes these coins so special, how to tell if you might have one, and how you can sell it for top dollar. So, check those old jars, wallets, and family coin collections, because the next fortune might be sitting in your hands. In 1954, the Denver Mint, that's what the D Mint mark stands for, produced over 251 million Lincoln wheat pennies. Most were just everyday coins worth 1 cent, used for groceries and gas when prices were a fraction of today's. But in the world of coin collecting, it's not about how many were made. It's about condition, errors, and rarity. Most of these coins wore down in circulation, but a few, just a few, were struck in extraordinary condition, or with minting errors that make them incredibly valuable today. Now, you're probably wondering, why would someone pay over $1 million for a penny? That record-breaking sale was for a Mint State 68 Plus Red graded by PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, combined with an extremely rare double die obverse error. That's when the coin die strikes slightly off, doubling parts of the date or letters. Under magnification, you could see crisp doubling on Liberty and the date 1954. Collectors go crazy for this combination. Nearly perfect, untouched surfaces. Full original copper red luster, a clear, dramatic double die or other striking anomaly. Auction house verification. It should be just below the date. Use a 10x magnifying loupe to inspect Liberty and the numbers in the date. If it looks shiny, bright, and almost flawless, it might be uncirculated. Original copper red coins are worth far more than brown or toned coins. Never try to clean your coin. It will destroy its value. Instead, have it graded by PCGS or NGC. Now, a reality check. While the $1 million example is real, most 1954 D pennies are worth between 10 cents and a few dollars in circulated condition. In high mint state, like MS65 or better, you might see $50 to $200. Only the rarest, highest grade error examples reach into the hundreds of thousands or millions. But here's the thing, you never know until you check. Photograph the coin clearly, both sides. Send it to a grading service, PCGS or NGC. This small investment can multiply your coin's value. Avoid pawn shops unless you're okay with low offers. Sell through major coin auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, or Great Collections. They have serious collectors who pay serious money. Keep your coin safe. Store it in a coin flip or slab to avoid damage. That little jar of pennies in your closet could be hiding a life-changing treasure. The 1954 D Wheat penny reminds us that history can hide in plain sight, sometimes worth a fortune. So go check your coins, and you just might be holding a $1 million story in your hand. We're diving deep into why this coin is so rare, how to spot one, and how you could turn that change in your pocket into life-changing cash. Quick cuts of coin collections, auctions, stacks of money. Stay tuned until the end because I'll share the exact steps to check your coins, avoid scams, and connect with serious buyers. You might already have a treasure hiding in plain sight. Archival images of 1958 Denver Mint, workers striking coins. The Lincoln Wheat penny series ran from 1909 to 1958. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where millions of pennies were produced. In 1958 alone, over 800 million pennies rolled out of Denver. So what makes this one so valuable? In most cases, a 1958 D penny is worth just a few cents, maybe $1 or $2 if it's uncirculated. But in rare cases, a minting error turns an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind piece of history. Close-ups of magnifying glass inspecting penny. The record-breaking $1.7 million 1958 D Wheat penny is believed to be the result of a double die obverse error. That means the front of the coin, Lincoln's portrait and the date, was struck twice, slightly off from the first strike, creating a doubling effect visible to the naked eye under magnification. This kind of error was never meant to leave the mint, making it astronomically rare. The coin that sold for $1.7 million was in pristine, mint state condition, graded MS65 or higher by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Condition is everything in coin collecting. Demonstration: host with coin, magnifying glass, soft gloves. Look for 1958 with a clear D below it. Focus on Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date no scratches. Nowhere, full original luster, a 10x jeweler's loupe or a USB coin microscope. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. If you think you've spotted something, your next step is authentication. Submit to PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. They often pay only a fraction of true value. Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers specialize in rare coins. Certificate of authenticity, grading report, and high-quality photos. Meet in secure, public locations. Avoid mailing without insurance. Collectors and investors will pay top dollar for a verified, high-grade error coin, but only if they trust the seller. Tone softens, more personal. Now, here's the truth. Not every 1958 D-penny is worth millions. In fact, the $1.7 million example is one of maybe just a handful in existence. But even more common varieties and minor errors can still fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars, enough to make checking your change well worth it. B-roll. Montage of coins being examined, sold, and celebrated. If you've got old coins in a jar, a safe, or tucked away in a drawer, don't ignore them. A few minutes of checking could uncover a once-in-a-lifetime find. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and your next penny might just be a million-dollar treasure. On-screen text, like, subscribe and share, your old coins could change your life. Fade out with light music and slow zoom on the $1.7 million penny image. If you want, I can also create a YouTube-friendly version with timestamps, SEO keywords, and on-screen text prompts so it's ready to record and edit.